The Consolation of Philosophy by Boethius is one of the most influential works of Western philosophy, written in the early 6th century while its author awaited execution in prison. Composed as a dialogue alternating between prose and poetry, the work presents a philosophical meditation on suffering, fortune, happiness, and divine providence. Boethius, once a powerful Roman statesman, has been falsely accused of treason and stripped of his honors, wealth, and freedom. In his despair, he is visited by Lady Philosophy, a majestic allegorical figure who comes not to comfort him emotionally, but to heal his soul by restoring his understanding of truth. At the beginning of the work, Boethius laments the injustice of his fate and the apparent cruelty of fortune, who has turned against him after years of favor. Lady Philosophy gently rebukes him for forgetting who he truly is. She diagnoses his suffering not merely as misfortune, but as a kind of spiritual amnesia. He has mistaken external goods, power, reputation, wealth, and pleasure for true happiness. Philosophy reminds him that such goods are unstable by nature and always subject to loss. Fortune, she explains, is like a wheel that constantly turns. Those who rise by her favor must also expect to fall. Complaining about fortune, therefore, is pointless because her very nature is change. The dialogue then turns to the question of what true happiness is. Philosophy systematically examines common human pursuits, riches, honor, power, fame, and pleasure, and shows that none of them can provide lasting fulfillment. Wealth never satisfies desire. Power brings fear and insecurity. Fame is fleeting and limited by time and place. Pleasure enslaves rather than frees. True happiness, she argues, must be self-sufficient, complete, and immune to loss. From this reasoning, philosophy concludes that genuine happiness can only be found in the highest good, which is identical with God. To seek happiness anywhere else is to chase shadows. As the argument deepens, philosophy presents a vision of the moral order of the universe. She asserts that evil has no real power of its own. The wicked may appear to prosper, but in reality they are miserable because they have abandoned the good that gives life meaning. Virtue, by contrast, is its own reward. Even when the virtuous suffer outwardly, they possess an inner freedom and dignity that cannot be taken away. Punishment, philosophy argues provocatively, is actually a form of medicine for the wicked, while apparent success is often a greater misfortune because it allows vice to persist uncorrected. One of the most challenging sections of the work addresses the problem of divine providence and human freedom. If God knows all things and governs the universe, Boethius asks, how can human beings be free or morally responsible? Philosophy responds by distinguishing between God's eternal perspective and human experience of time. God does not foresee the future as humans do. Rather, he sees all moments, past, present, and future, simultaneously in an eternal present. Divine foreknowledge, therefore, does not impose necessity on human choices. Humans remain free, even though their actions are eternally known by God. This resolution preserves both moral responsibility and the rational order of the cosmos. By the end of the Consolation of Philosophy, Boethius has been led away from self-pity toward intellectual and spiritual clarity. Although his external circumstances have not changed, he still faces death. His inner condition has been transformed. He comes to see that no unjust verdict can rob him of the good life if his soul remains aligned with truth and virtue. The work closes not with dramatic rescue, but with quiet philosophical victory, a reaffirmation that reason, virtue, and contemplation of the highest good offer a consolation that no prison can destroy. For medieval and later readers, the Consolation of Philosophy became a bridge between classical philosophy and Christian thought, shaping writers from Dante to Chaucer and beyond. Its enduring power lies in its calm insistence that suffering can become a teacher, that happiness depends on wisdom rather than circumstance, and that the order of the universe, though often hidden, is ultimately rational and just.